Hey guys, Scott here with the MXQ project, and in today's video we are going back to what we do best and we're looking at another Android TV box. In today's video we're going to be focusing on the A95X Pro TV box with Android 7.1 and voice control. So the A95X Pro comes with a quad-core Amlogic S905W processor. It also has a quad-core Mali 450 GPU. Comes with 2GB of RAM, 16GB of storage. It has 2.4G Wi-Fi connectivity as well as Ethernet. Now the interesting thing about this box is that it comes with Android TV installed on there as standard, which means you're going to get things like the Google Leanback Launcher and all the features that brings with it. So this should be a pretty interesting box to say the least. It also comes with a wireless remote control which is connected via a small USB dongle, and it has an inbuilt microphone, which means that we can use the voice search function that comes with Android TV, but we'll get into that a little bit later on. For now, let's take a look inside the box, get it all unboxed, and then we'll move over to the firmware and have a look at how well this box performs. So this is the packaging and box for the A95X Pro. It's very cheap packaging, but I'm going to let it off because it is a very cheap box, very much a budget box. It's got some information on the back here about the GPU and CPU and its RAM and storage capacities, which I've already been over earlier on in the video. But let's open this up now and take a look at the main article, which is the A95X box itself. Now it comes in this protective packaging, and the first thing I've noticed is it's a lot smaller than I expected it to be. I'm not sure what I expected, but I wasn't expecting something this small for some reason. But that's fine. It doesn't have the best build quality, I'm afraid, but again, it is a cheap TV box, so don't expect the best materials to be used and for it to have the best build quality. But it's very, very lightweight, and it should sit unassumingly under your TV or wherever you want to put it. On the side here, we've got an SD card input and 2 USB ports, and on the back here, we have our standard inputs and outputs such as power, HDMI, AV, Ethernet, and another audio port there as well. And that is pretty much all there is to this box. It's got the microphone logo as well, just to, you know, kind of take on that selling point of the voice remote control function, which I'll get to shortly. The next thing that I'm coming to here is the power supply. They've actually sent me a UK power supply this time, which is really nice to see, which means I don't have to dig out my adapter, but you can choose what power supply gets sent with the item when you buy one of these from Gearbest, depending on where you live. But I need a UK one, and they've sent one this time, which is great. Next up, we've got a standard HDMI lead. You get these with any TV box you buy nowadays, and they work pretty much fine. HDMI cables, there's not much to them. Next up, we've got a user manual, which consists of around 2 pages of diagrams. Not much use to anyone. Same with most user manuals with these products. Next up is the remote control, which comes with another little instruction pamphlet, which has some diagrams of the remote itself and what the buttons all do. It's not hard to work out what the remote buttons do, but it's there if you need to know what a certain function does. So we'll just take a quick look at this here. Don't need to go into too much detail with it, but it's there if you want it. So let's take a look at this remote itself. Again, build quality is not the best. It feels like a cheapo remote, but better than some of the remotes I've seen with TV boxes. Basic functions on here, there's a mouse function, and you control that using the arrow buttons, and it doesn't work too badly. But the main selling point of this box is the voice control, and you saw that button just there. In the back here, it houses the USB dongle, and it also takes 2 AAA batteries, which aren't included. So this is the USB dongle that you'll plug into your box to be able to use this voice control. But that's pretty much it for the contents of the box, so there's not much left to do now except plug everything in and take a look at the Android TV firmware, which I'm pretty excited to look at, and test out this voice function as well. So I'll see you in a second, guys, once I've powered this thing up. So I've turned on the box and Android TV is booted up, and here is the Leanback Launcher. Now you will get a lot of setup screen, and it's a pretty standard setup screen for Android TV devices. But this is the main Leanback Launcher. You may or may have not seen it. I'm a big fan of this launcher actually. I think everything just looks really neat and tidy. You get a lot of suggestions on here, like YouTube videos, depending on if you're signed into your Google account. And we've got a lot of the apps here. Most of these were pre-installed, some of which I have installed myself though, just to be able to access extra content. But you get a few select apps. Now if we go down here, we've got an app drawer for apps that aren't compatible with the Leanback Launcher, so any apps that aren't made for Android TV will go in there and they won't appear on the home screen without using a third-party app. But if we go into the settings here and the About section, we can see that it's the A95X Pro and it's running Android 7.1 2.2, which is great. Now you do get some updates on this over the air. I've already had one since plugging it in, but you can come into the wireless update app here and check for updates. Now it should say that I'm all up to date at the moment, which I am, but the last update was on the 20th of June of this year, so you do get over the air updates with some bug fixes and things. So next up, I'd like to test the voice search function using the voice remote control that came with the box. So I'm going to do a quick search and see if this works properly. So if I press and hold the voice button on the remote control, it will bring up the voice search function on the TV box, and if I were to say something like MXQ project, it will bring up a load of results from YouTube, etc. And as you can see here, we've got a load of our videos from our channel come up. So if I just click on one of these, it'll bring us neatly to the video playback section of the review, and we'll take a look at some YouTube playback. Now I'm just playing back some 4K test footage from YouTube, and I've got the video stats up as well, just to see that it is in fact streaming in 4K Ultra HD. And it's not doing too bad a job at doing that either at this frame rate. It's working pretty well. Now obviously this is going to be dependent on your internet connection, and also you're going to need naturally a 4K screen or monitor to be able to play back 4K content properly. The A95X Pro comes with a DRM information app pre-installed, which I've opened up now, and we can see that this device, the A95X Pro, does in fact support Google Widevine modular DRM protection at security level 1, which means that we can in fact stream services like Netflix and other video on demand services in full HD, that's 1080p. Unfortunately 4K Ultra HD and HDR is not yet supported, but it's great that such a cheap TV box comes with this DRM support, which means that we can stream content from legitimate providers like Netflix in full HD. Next up, I've run the Antutu 3D benchmark test, and it's scored around 20,000, which is what I would have expected for a variant of the S905 processor. Unfortunately, it didn't manage to test the GPU properly, so we don't have an accurate 3D score, because a lot of the more recent TV boxes I've found aren't very compatible with the latest versions of Antutu. But let's put this into practice now and jump over to Asphalt 8 and take a look at the 3D performance on the A95X Pro. So not what I would call an excellent performance from the A95X in terms of playing Asphalt 8 here. Now this could be because the box is getting quite hot. I have noticed at this point that there is quite a lot of heat coming from the box itself, but overall not a great experience. This is on the medium visual settings. You may need to dial these back down to the lowest possible in order to get a more playable experience out of this game. Unfortunately, it's just staggering a lot. Some moments it's playing quite smooth, but a lot of the time the frame rate's just dropping way below what I would class as a playable sort of level. So unfortunately it's not doing great on the gaming side of things. So my overall impressions of the A95X Pro TV box are pretty positive actually. I've really enjoyed using this TV box. It's such a cheap device as well, and you get so much more. A lot of the times when you're paying very little for a TV box, you just get what you pay for, but you do get so much more with a box like this. You're getting a really great Android TV operating system on there, and the firmware just works really well and complements this box excellently. Couple that with the over-the-air updates that you receive periodically for this device, it's a no-brainer really if you're wanting a great TV box and not wanting to pay too much for it, and you've got a really low budget. So you're going to be getting security patches and bug fixes over the air periodically as well. Video playback was also excellent, as we saw with the YouTube clips that I played. Didn't struggle too much at all. Obviously that's going to be dependent on your internet connection as well, and you're going to need a 4K TV to make the most out of the 4K content obviously, otherwise a lot of stuff's just going to be downscaled. If you're wanting something just for multimedia and video on demand, you're not going to go wrong with a device like this, especially as it has level 1 Google Widevine DRM protection, so you're going to be able to use services like Netflix and Amazon Prime in full HD 1080p, which is great to see on a box, and there are very few boxes that have that level of DRM protection. So if you're wanting something to stream Netflix on, then this box is an excellent buy. The gaming side of things unfortunately wasn't great. It wasn't doing a great job at handling the 3D rendering or playing of 3D games unfortunately, so I would avoid a box like this if you're wanting to play a lot of games on there. Might be okay for some emulation, which I didn't get around to trying in this review, but as a multimedia box for video and audio playback, it's an excellent little device. So that brings our review today to a close. I really hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you did like it, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the MXQ MXQ Project YouTube channel. When you do hit the subscribe button, make sure you hit the little bell as well. That means that you're going to get notified of every time we upload new content to the channel, which is usually a couple of times a week. Come and visit us on the website www.mxqproject.com. All of our video reviews go in there, and we have some other cool articles and tutorials over on the website as well. Come and follow us on Twitter at MXQ Project, and we've also got a really cool Facebook group with loads of knowledgeable people on there offering advice and loads of other fun stuff. The link to that will be in the description. My name is Scott. You've been watching another review by the MXQ Project, and I shall see you really soon.